You're
Hey.
what's going on, man?
We're back.
Good to see you. We definitely are back. We back in this thing, man. Brown Juice Barbershop,
Love it.
kicking
Love
it, kicking it. You know,
Your name. Why brown juice? Why are you a brown juice person?
it's a good question. I think it's like an evolution. You know, it's a process. I wasn't always this way. It happened. When did it happen? So I think in college, it's like college, you're on that struggle, right? It's like that struggle budget. So everybody get a bottle of wine to share. Or you get whatever, whatever people can get, that's what you get. Being a part of fraternity, jungle juice, you got all this other stuff. But when I got older, I put away childish things. Let me stop. So when I got older, I started to I really love beer. I do. I love beer. My wife and I, we had a journey with that together. We went to wineries, and then afterwards we started to try different types of beer. So I always do love beer, but for whatever reason, I got into bourbon. I don't know. I really don't know how or why. But there was one summer, and literally I was just watching YouTube videos of reviews of bourbon, reviews of all different types of whiskey. But I love bourbon over all other types of whiskeys. I can get down with Scotch, I can, but some things are a little bit too peaty for me, too smoky. But I just don't know where it came. Maybe it's in my blood. I don't know. But I do like me some brown. I think, but it was a process to get to that point. And now it's like, I'll never forget, one of my fraternity brothers, older dude, love him so much. And he said, because we went out at a function, and I had ordered a Long Island iced tea. He said, brother, that drink is for someone who don't know anything about themselves. It's like, it's a bunch of stuff just thrown in there, confused. Like, you don't know, what do you want to drink? Like, that's just, you gotta know what you want to drink. And I remember that. But now it's like,
Good.
I like my brown neat. Do I like it with ice? And then you can start to figure out which ones you like. But I think it was a process getting to this point. Do you have a story about the brown?
That's good. I was like you drinking, please, I was in Connecticut College. We were drinking Milwaukee's Beast.
Hey.
AKA Milwaukee's Best. That's what it was. Oh my gosh. And I don't know. I think it was as I got a little more mature, putting down childish things, as you said. And I had a moment where I was like, I felt a connection to it. I was like, this is what the men in my family drink. And I had no real evidence. Like, I couldn't be like, remember this barbecue. I had none of that. But as I've learned, it is the men and the women, let me say. This is what they drink. And so I do feel like it's some sort of connection that I don't know about. I have an understanding. But one day I was just like, I like bourbon. I like whiskey. I like the brown stuff. I like a brown juice or anything else.
If you feel grown. And I mean, yeah. I don't know if you have a sitting stance that, like, when you're about to get into some real stuff, you do. For me, and this was a process too, leg crossed, lean back, Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Like that's usually, like, that's how I'm comfortable. Like, that's when I'm really, really want to get into it. This is like the only time when I like sit flat-footed and talk and get into some stuff. But usually I'm just leaning back, kicking it, and it just looks good when you got a little something brown to swirl.
Okay, so what you got today? Hey,
now, one of my favorite go-tos. You can't go wrong with it. A little bit of Wild Turkey 101.
We have Milwaukee Beast and Wild Turkey, not 101.
What you got going on over there today?
Well, I'm going back to the little cognac.
Get it. Little hen dog.
Doing that. It's dark too.
So where are you on cognac? You really like cognac?
No, it's not. For me, like I told you, this one is VSOP privilege. I think I told you, it even has an inscription on the back. I was in a film festival and they gave it to me. Run and Shoe Filmmakers. Run and Shoe Filmworks. Martha's Vineyards African American Film Festival 2018. Cognac sponsored. They gave me a bottle. I was like, okay. And here I am.
Love it.
So that shows you it was 2018 and I'm still sipping it.
Love it. I mean, there's some cognacs I got into. It was of course you got the Remy, but then there's one that's like, I think Martell's Martell's,
Yeah.
yes.
My barber loses his mind over Martell.
It's pretty good.
Is it?
It made me a believer.
Really? I've been thinking to shout out Well Connected and get some I forgot, what's it called? I forgot that fast.
What, Martell?
Martell. Get some Martell.
Get some
Well
Martell.
Connected and shoot my barber. He need to send me a bottle.
Listen.
Willis.
Make it happen, brother.
Willis, you watching, listening, send a bottle into the Brown Juice Barbershop. You got the connection. I mean, you go to my barbershop, there's neon signs, they got all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. And bottles all around, and Martell is a spot.
Hey, talk about it. Well,
yeah, it's great. Great.
Can we toast to your barber and all the barbers and all the barbershops and the beauty salons and the people who hold it down? Let's do that.
Let's do that. I miss you. And not just for the cut. I miss being around you. You do all kinds of great stuff.
Word. Cheers to y'all. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's smooth. Yeah, it's smooth. It's smooth. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So what's that? What I see? The Spirit of the Link. What you rocking today?
Oh, okay. So this right here is a T-shirt from the Link Men's Alliance. So at Cornell University, one of the organizations I was part of is for Black and Latino men. And make a long story short, it's just really to make sure that we were all working together, helping each other with schoolwork, how to navigate, get the lay of the land, what professors are this, what classes are that, just looking out for each other, holding each other accountable, building camaraderie, retreats, meetings, etc. So really playing basketball together, a lot of things. Had a cookout, support the sisters too, a lot of things. But every time at the end of a meeting, we would link up. So they're called Link It Up. So we would link up, all arm in arm, and at the end we would say on 3, 1, 2, 3, make it happen. And that's what we do. So to honor the Men's Link Alliance, that was a pillar of the community at Cornell, and just still letting folks get through. Legendary listserv, people just feeding the block in so many ways. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. That's great. That community is important.
Yes, sir. You need it. No matter where you are, you need it.
Yeah, agreed.
So what you rocking, brother?
Yeah, I went a little different this time. I love food, which is why this shirt is feeling kind of young on me today. Because when I bought it, it's a different size, And honestly, since this COVID situation, somebody's been sneaking in my closet and shrinking my clothes, yo.
Who did that?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
They're making my shirts get tighter, making my pants, the buckle on my belt. I'm like, come on, who is doing this?
You know what? They might be at my house too.
I don't know. You better watch out, man. You better watch out. Ain't no joke. But this is a spot. I travel a lot for my films and for my education and keynotes and gathering and all that stuff. And I went to Portland to visit to speak there at a school. Great school called Catlin Gable School. Great experience. And I was visiting with a good friend from high school. And she's a really unique, brilliant artist and kind of person you'd be like, you guys are friends? But we really are. We have a good little bond. We don't see each other enough. We have a good little bond. And she's like, I'm going to take you out to get some food. And I was like, food in Portland, Oregon? Okay, whatever. Thinking like, we'll go get something like that. She goes, no, I'm telling you. And I was like, okay. Thinking, I'm like, I live in New York City. I have the best food in the world. Portland, Oregon. Yo.
Oh, yeah?
The food in Portland, Oregon is two things that are so shocking about Portland, Oregon. And I remember thinking this. I was on the plane flying from New York to Portland, and I was like, why is everybody rocking like dope kicks I've never seen before? Mm-hmm. Like little guys named like David, like, hi, how are you? And like fly kicks. And I was like,
yep.
What's going on? Like everybody. Like stuff you had never seen before, like exclusives and like original Jordans, like everything. And I was like, what's going on? Like everybody. And I realized Nike started out there. And everybody works at Nike. Everybody's like hip, and sneakers are a thing. And they're like family stores and all stuff you can get. I mean, I have rules. When I go out there and go to the sneaker shop, the family store, I'm like 2 or 3, that's it. And then I'll go crazy. I can't do it. Anyhow, so back to the food. We go out to eat. Yo, the food in Portland is something else. This spot is Carlardo. Okay. And they make sandwiches and every little thing else. And the food is like, it's kind of place you have to go to like once in a while. But when I was out there over a week, I went twice.
Hey now.
Because it's so rich and so delicious, and they go over the top of their food. And it's fantastic. I think about them now and what's happening in the world. I don't know how they're doing, you know, because they were a restaurant. It was a walk-up spot with like stand-up tables kind of thing, you know, very busy for lunch downtown Portland, and delicious food, like amazing. Kind of stuff where you buy your sandwich like, yo, can I get a t-shirt? Because I don't know how I'm going to take this back because this food is so good. Delicious food. So yeah, Portland, Oregon, kicks and food. No lie. Now they got a complicated history. You know, it was people called not allowed to live there. Like it was illegal to live there. That's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that. The food and the sneakers are just mind blowing. I got some people I love in Portland, Oregon.
That's what's up.
Really good folks.
That's what's up.
Yeah, really good folks.
Okay.
So I want to talk to you about some stuff today. Unless you have something else you want to begin with. I don't want to.
No.
Okay. So I was teaching class this past week, and one of my kids, he's great, brilliant little kid, and really clever. I know his mom's, as they say. We go way back. He's in the class, and he was talking about something. We watched the film, and I asked him to get a response to the film, and I filmed about this character playing. He goes, "Yo, that guy was a real simp," and I said, "What was that now?" He said, "He's a real simp." And it's that moment where you're the teacher, like, "Dad, I used to be cool." So I was like, "So, what is a simp?" And they all kind of like, you don't know, like, you know, there's that moment. They got me, you know, like they got me, like, you don't know what a simp is, Dre? It's just like, you know, somebody's a simp. And I was like, you want to tell me more? And we dug into it. And it brought me to this moment of like realizing and remembering how powerful colloquialisms are.
Oh yeah.
What they mean and how they're so strong. And I love it. I remember 2 years ago I was teaching, and so I was like, yo, Dre, you had a glow up. And I was like, excuse me? And I was like, what? Like, no, I saw your picture from them, and your picture later, you had the glow up. And they had to break the whole thing down. And it's so funny when kids are like trying to give you this language. He's like, I know it, you know, but you got to listen because it's young people that flow these things through. So do you know what a simp is?
Now, is that like a simpleton or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because for me, like, I never heard of that, and I never heard of, maybe you know about this. I don't know if it's a Philly thing, but it's like a Joe.
A Joe.
It's like, oh, yeah, he a Joe. I think it's like, I think it's like lame or corny. So you don't want to be called a Joe. Oh, he a Joe. I think that's what it is. Oh, this Joe. I think.
Come on, but think about all that it does. Even though you don't know, you know. You know, when they said simp, I was like, I got what you mean, because you applied to the guy, because it's a character, and he's being played by this girl. They're like, oh, he a simp. And I was like, wow, okay, I think I get it, but tell me, to make sure I get it,
yeah.
let me understand what is actually happening. And so it brought me to the whole notion of colloquialisms and their power, and how I think they're wonderful. We've talked about Jordan Hurston and Portmanteau. I think I once mentioned one time my hand was itching. And what did you say right when I said that?
I was like, oh, money coming your way?
Exactly. See, you know. They're great. I love them.
Got money coming your way.
How would it be fun to kick some back and forth, you know?
Let's do that. So,
we're both excited. Look at that.
Go ahead, please.
Let me give you one. It's a real simple one that is very Southern, you know, and that I love. Fitting.
What do you say? Oh, fitting?
Fitting or fixing.
Oh, fix. Oh, yeah.
Fixing is like a softer way to say it. Well, you really talk to somebody really nice. I was fitting to do that.
Because I've heard, and it's so crazy because it's regional. It becomes regional because you have fixing, fitting, and finna.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's also like you have tenses too. It's almost like if you like, you know, in Spanish you got the preterite, you got the past tense, all these things, right? So it's like fixing, fitting, finna. I'm finna do something. He finna do that. She finna do it. Yeah, finna.
Beautiful. I love that one. I like because it makes sense. Like to break it down, it's talking about a whole lot. Yeah. I'm gonna go over to Joe's house. I'm finna go to Joe's house. You know that means something about to happen. Like you ain't just gonna sit on the porch. You got to have a conversation. Have some food. What else? Something's going on when you fit to go to somebody's house. I love that. I love it.
Talk about it. Speaking about down south, right? Because I told you my grandfather was he's from Virginia, and one of the things he always said, speaking, you know, Brown Juice Barbershop, every time he would come back from getting a haircut, what he would say is, I don't know if you heard this before. Oh, I see you got your ears lowered.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wait. The first time I heard that, I was like, no. What do you mean? Like no one lowered my ears. Like, oh, you got a haircut. Got it. I got it.
Those old Southern men are no joke. I remember once. So I grew up in Southern Baptist Church, so we were in church all day Sunday. We picked up at 8 a.m. if not 7:30. Come home 9 p.m. every Sunday, all day. And there were no sitting around moments. It was busy. And my uncle, whose name was Roosevelt Washington, it's my great uncle, my grandfather's brother. My grandfather, Ransom Clay Lee, his brother, Roosevelt Washington. Don't know the story, that's all I know. And one day we got on the church bus, and my sister was mad because he drove the church bus to pick us up. We drive all around the city to pick up people. That was just, he lived near us, that was the way to get, we didn't have a car. That's how we got to church. So one day, my sister got in a van, and she was mad at my mother for something, because my mother wouldn't let her wear something, and who knows, she's like an argument in the morning. And she got in, and she didn't say hi to him. Like, he was old school. This man was so old school that he would drive, when he would go down south, he'd leave at night, and he wasn't concerned about rest stop because he had Pepsi bottles. I'll leave it there. So country, Roosevelt Washington, country. She got on the bus and she didn't say hi to him. I must have been like 8 or 9 or 10. She must have been 14, 15. He goes, you ain't sleeping with me last night. And I was like, what did he say? What did he say? He said, yeah, I said, you ain't sleeping with me last night, girl. What you got to say? And I was so confused because I had never heard that. And I was like, what is going on? Is he harassing my sister? What's this about? And it was simple as like, when you see somebody in the morning that you didn't spend the evening with, you need to say hello. Mm-hmm. That's polite. Mm-hmm. And it was, when somebody said that, you pay attention, like, oh. Mm-hmm. And she went, good morning. And he was like, you need to fix your attitude, girl. But it was such a moment. And I was sitting here like, wow, like that stayed with me so deeply. You ain't with me last night. Why don't you say hi to me in the morning?
That's wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But see, and I think we need to get back to that in a lot of different ways, in the sense of like building that family structure. Because I know my wife, she's Haitian American. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think this is a tradition, particularly in Caribbean households too. It's like, I know specifically in Haitian culture, if you enter a room, you have to say hello to everybody. And they call it saluer. You have to saluer someone. So it's like, you can't just enter a room and not say hello to me. I don't care if you don't know me. Mm-hmm. You got to come say hello because you entered the room. Right. We were here before you got here. And right. if you think about that, it's like, you entered this space. You need to actually talk to us. We don't need to talk to you. You need to talk to us. So I think about that in like the larger grand scheme of things. Not to get too meta, but think about like gentrification and people moving to the space. It's like, we were here first. Right. Talk to us.
Right. It really matters. I was actually thinking about that. Living here in the East Village, being the only person over 27 in the neighborhood, mm-hmm. watching the kids, and I'm the adult, and every day at 7:00 we all come to our windows to like cheer on the people. Like really, the people really do it. There's one guy on the block pulls out a French horn, is like, banging on pots and having people clapping. And I've been noticing as I do it, trying to think as I look out my window. I don't think the other people of color, because it is what it is. And also, so many people have left. That is a different crowd. So it's mostly young people out there. And I find myself being like, do y'all even see me? Because they're like interacting. They're like, oh, like interacting. And I'm like, I'm the old guy, like, wonderful. It's such a moment. But I do find those moments I walk around. And I'm like, you should be saying hello to me. I've been here a long time.
Talk about it.
And I've made this neighborhood work for you. You should nod your head, say hello. But that's not what some people do. That nod is one. That nod is one. I love that nod.
Listen, and the funny thing is, when they were talking about, when COVID started to really become prominent, they were like, listen, Black folks have been prepared for this for years. We don't need to do the dap anything. We can't shake hands anymore. We can do the fist bump. If not, Head nod. We got the Wakanda joint. We've been prepared. We are an adaptable and resilient people. We are prepared.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. I never thought about that, but that's spot on.
We are
It's
prepared.
amazing to walk and see people just so uncomfortable. And here's the other thing on that notion. It's a moment walking around the city with a mask on as a black man. It's a real moment. I haven't been going out when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
For one, it's just so empty. But I'm like, I see people look like it's kind of thing where now, because I've seen it in this neighborhood, people avoid you, go around, and now I'm like, well, I understand it because of it. But I do find myself thinking like, what's your perception of me now that I have this mask? Because this is all you're seeing, and I have, sadly, with assimilation, learned and known ways to make myself appear more friendly.
Talk about it.
With a smile, with a timbre of voice, all that stuff. And now, all you see is this.
Mm-hmm.
And I see people kind of like moving. And I'm like, oh, I tell myself that's just a virus that people are worried about. I'm not even going to internalize any of your mess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I really do find myself thinking about that, walking around as a black man with a mask. Like, that's a real moment for me. Like I honestly have thought about that many times, been like, what does this mean? How do people interpret me? You know, and have to check myself. Because like I was at this one of my favorite spots. I mentioned to you my spot that has the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
I walk up, you know, and they know me there. So people there inside are friendly. And so I get real familiar. And the other day I was like standing, and this guy was like, I'm sorry, sir, but that woman over there, she's in front of you? And I turned and looked at him, and he was like, and I was like, oh, it's all good. No worries. I didn't realize she was there, and I moved back. But it was such a moment. Like, and I wanted, it needs to be just like, oh, okay. Hey, let me talk to this person. But you can see the uncomfortableness that people have with folks different from them.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And what I've been noticing too, though, and I don't want to take us off from what we were talking about, but what I've been noticing is when I have my mask when I'm going out, you realize that people who are truly not only your friend, but the people who know you. Right. Usually when you get to know someone, it's a matter of knowing someone's mannerisms, their voice, but more importantly, being able to see their eyes. Because you can really tell a lot about a person when you look at them in their eyes. And I've been at places with my mask and everything covered, but they see my eyes and they make that connection. And like, I know who you are, as opposed to just seeing another brown brother. You know what I mean? So that's been interesting too. Other folks are like,
yeah, so interesting, isn't it? We human beings are complicated.
Oof, talk about it.
Oof, we are complicated.
Talk about it.
That actually brings to another one I want to think about. My friend Sonia is known for saying this. She's from Mississippi. Brilliant. Harvard educated, Harvard PhD, you know, went to Yale undergrad. I don't remember when she did her master's, but Yale undergrad, another great master's program, and then Harvard for her EDD. Brilliant woman from Mississippi. And we're working at the Ford Foundation, this high-end, great company, you know. And it was such a moment where, you know, we're very articulate, and we are the leading group, but this place is harder to get into than getting into Harvard. It's a great job to have. We're a very unique bunch. One day, somebody asked her to do something, and she's like, "It ain't gonna worry me." I was like, what are you saying? He's talking about he want these documents? They ain't gonna worry me. And I was like, that is beautiful. All the degrees went out the window. Or maybe they were right there. Not out the window, they were right there. Because she's like, they ain't gonna worry me with all that. I ain't doing that. I thought it was amazing. It said everything. It said everything.
Listen, I love that. And it reminds me of another one, because when it's like, I'm unbothered, it reminds me also of, don't include me in your mess.
Right, exactly.
So it reminds me of my grandfather all the time, or when like something was popping off and people would start talking and chirping at each other. He'd like, my name is Bennett and I'm not in it.
Exactly.
All the time.
My mother would say, my name is Wes and I'm not in that mess.
Yes. It's like, leave me out of it.
Right, exactly.
Not pull me in. And ultimately it's like, because if you do pull me in, I'll handle it. Because the other one is, Oh, you want me to get involved? You want to involve me? That's always a follow-up. It's like, oh, you want to involve me? All right.
That's why that song was so successful 2 years ago. That with that Snoop was featured on, the Smile.
Oh yeah.
You know the chorus. You know the chorus.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I first learned about exactly. I first learned about because my friend said he was with a woman that somebody they come from church, and the song came on and she started singing it, and they were like, "You know what they're saying?" She's like, "Yeah, I know what they're singing, and I mean it." Coming from church to sing the whole thing.
Not playing games. Unbothered. Do not involve me in your mess. No.
Yeah. It's surviving in our culture for
Mm.
shizzle. Which is next on my list, like for shizzle. Like when I remember that whole thing, you know, I mean, I thought when I first heard it, I thought back to like the double Dutch bus, that whole wiggy, all that stuff, like all those things. That was like a language that wasn't even necessary to be a language, but you understood every single word and timbre. You got it all. It made complete sense to you. And when Snoop brought rebirth for shizzle and the whole thing with it. It was amazing to see like the world, because it used to be these things were inside our community and they were very close. But now you turn on the TV and folks like, oh, that's on fleek, you know, that's so lit, you know, and you're like, this ain't for you.
Yeah, like I never forget. I heard something from the young kids nowadays, like no cap. I'm like, what is it? Like? Oh, he's capping. Like someone's shooting, like what's like
right.
capping, like pop a cap. That's what I know, like, but no cap meaning like no BS. I'm like, oh, okay,
right. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I was on those notes in terms of like the new and the old. Back in the day, we used to say fly. Remember that song, Fly Girl? Yep. Fly Girl, Fly Girl, Fly Girl, Fly Girl.
Go.
Right? And then it just went into, that was like the jam. What's the new fly?
I want to say fresh, but I might be dating myself.
Fresh was the second fly. What's the new? What's today?
Not Jiggy.
It's a clothing brand. I'll give you that hint.
What'd you say?
A clothing brand.
I don't know. Gucci?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Gucci's a new fly, which is interesting.
Right.
Because it's down a certain path of like materialism and what we're thinking about and stuff we can't afford. You know, people spending all their damn money on Gucci.
You're absolutely right.
It's amazing how Gucci is like, yo, that's Gucci. You know? Or I'm Gucci.
Yeah, I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci. I'm good. And also like, so I'll never forget. One student came to me one day. I think it was after. I think it was wearing one of my T-shirts. Actually, this the shirt I wore in our first time together, the cut shirt, and I had that like with black pants on, like some gray like sneakers that match whatever. He's like, I appreciated your drip yesterday.
Yes.
I'm like, drip? Okay. I appreciate it.
I love it. It's amazing. It's really fantastic the way that we find ways to describe and present. I mean, if you think about it, we came here, had to learn the language. And we were coming from various countries and all thrown together with different tongues and different tribes and did not have a common language. You had to develop a common language, you know. And then, you know, I think I mentioned this in an earlier session we had, the whole X. X is like, that's from Scottish stuff. That comes from like that's from another land. And mixing that with like African tongues and the Southern tongue, you know, it's amazing the multi-layers of text and language. Language is complex and beautiful.
Talk about it.
It's really beautiful. Beautiful. I remember my barbershop, my former barber, all from Trinidad, you know, and bless up, Dre, bless up all the time. And I was like, that's so beautiful. You know, you feel it. Oh,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bless up.
Strength, no weakness.
Exactly. There's a whole they have a whole nother, the Caribbean has a whole nother.
Oh, tell me about it. So there was one girl from Kingston, Jamaica, who was in high school with me. And she used to be like, come follow me to Johnny's. I'm like, follow you with? Like, follow you for, why am I following you? That meant like, come with me to
Who's Johnny?
Okay, who's follow me to Johnny's? I'm like, oh, okay. We going to the bagel store together. Got you. And other times like getting off the phone or like saying goodbye before, little more. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like it's beautiful. The language is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know your wife is from Haitian. Where are your people from?
So for me, from what I know, my research, my father's family. Well, he's from Cleveland, Ohio. Mother was born and raised in New York. My grandfather on my mother's side from Virginia. My grandmother on my mother's side from New York City. My grandmother on my father's side is from Georgia, Washington, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think my father's father, so my grandfather on my father's side, I think it might be a Southern boy too, if I'm not mistaken. So I got a little bit of like urban areas, and then also like some Southern roots all coming together.
Yeah, my family, they're from down south. My mother's family migrated from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and my father's family migrated from Orangeburg, South Carolina. And it's interesting. And beyond that, I know nothing. I used to ask and inquire. Boy, we'll talk about that. Like I know nothing about my grandmother's family besides her 2 sisters. And I think she had a brother, but I don't know. They just didn't talk about it on my maternal side. And on the paternal side, I grew up knowing my great grandparents. They lived to be 106, 103. And they apparently got married when they were like 9 and 16. They escaped some problematic living, built a house in the woods, and started their family. And she had a cure for every. My sister had really bad thyroid problems growing up. Doctors, visits, all stuff. Grandma Robinson was like, bring her over here. And I remember the day I was sitting there, and she's one of the ones. She would have the string with the dime. You ever see that? Curing arthritis. String with the dime with a dime. I used to be like, how did they put that hole in that dime? How did they do that? I never found out, but I'm so curious. See that all the time. And then she walked in. They said, sit her down. I set my sister down, and she walked in with this spoon, this red like powder. It was like heaping, like a heavy teaspoon. I went over to my sister. Open your mouth, girl. Took the spoon and dumped it. My sister's like, she's better.
Listen, I'm telling you, talk about home remedies. So, for example, have you ever gotten like a black and blue bruise?
No, you're a little lighter than me, but go on. I understand what you mean.
Love it. So
I'm following, but yeah.
So the remedy for that was you have to get a penny, like one of the old school pennies, not the new pennies that they make now, one of the old copper pennies. Put some pennies on that bad boy. Put like some tape or a Band-Aid over the pennies. That joint will go away so quick.
Wow, I believe that. It's amazing. It's amazing these people.
Like, type of science,
right?
What is going on?
Well, they could not go to the doctors like we could, and also they didn't trust.
Yep.
Remember, they were hearing about things like the Tuskegee Airmen and the syphilis experiments. That was like their time. That wasn't coming. That was right then. So they weren't going to the doctor. They weren't going to the doctor. Going to a hospital. Hospital. So yeah. So my family, Orangeburg, South Carolina, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I remember the church I grew up in. I did a report, and I did this whole like migration series studies thing. And in my church, almost every single person was either from Orangeburg, South Carolina, or Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I was like, that's amazing. What do you think about it? Somebody came up. Somebody else came up, and they knew each other, and they're like, oh, here we go. Think about it. They didn't have phones back then at that level when they first came up, in the 30s and 40s and 50s in their houses. Phones was not a normal thing. Maybe it was one or two somebody had, but they were communicating and talking to one another and inviting. Can you hear that? What's happening?
Yeah.
It's 7:00 in New York City, and we all clap and cheer and bang on pots to thank all the people working, the first responders, and I say all the people doing deliveries and everything. Like the whole city, I think I mentioned this, the whole city just stops and yells. That's what that is. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I run to my front window and do my clapping, but I'm doing this right now.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so all the little things. What you got another one? I got one or two maybe. What you got?
Yeah. So my grandmother, she ain't play no games. So she used to always give us stuff to live by. Not necessarily like colloquialism, but like things to live by that have been ingrained into my head. One of those things was she used to come to our house and be like, "Why is your room so messed up? Like, why is that on the floor where it should be somewhere else?" And she would tell us, "There's a place for everything, and everything in its place." So that's something that just always stuck with me. I'm just like, I don't know what this means, but for some reason, it's ingrained in me. And I actually shared that with one of my colleagues at another place of employment. And they were like, "Wow, that really gave me so much clarity about what I want to do for my future, etc." I'm like, really? So like all this like wisdom that our ancestors, our elders have, right? It's God sent in a lot of different ways. It's just like stuff to hold on.
And developed over time because they had to find ways to figure out what they were doing, what was happening, and ways to talk about it and communicate, and also talking code.
Yes.
But you didn't want everybody knowing what you want. I mean, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Well, that's a complicated one because that's not really wasn't made by us.
I know what you're talking about.
Wade in the Water is a little bit better.
Wade in the Water, follow the drinking gourd, all that.
Exactly. All those messages are right there. It's good. I was thinking about a current one that I like that has also been adopted and reshaped, and it's GOAT.
Yes.
GOAT.
Yes.
That's been normalized, I would say, and spread aside. And it's interesting when I think about this stuff. I try and put my finger on. I'm always curious about how the world works, and I find myself thinking like, how do we get to the point where these phraseologies, I'll say, were normalized? Why is irregardless now in the dictionary when it used to be sister so and so who would make a point and say irregardless of what, But like GOAT is one, and it's everywhere now. You count on any game like, oh, he's been qualified as the GOAT. Serena Williams is a GOAT. Kobe Bryant was the GOAT. It's clear and it makes complete sense. I don't know where it comes from originally, but I feel like we can claim it.
I think we can. I think we definitely can claim it. If not, we should. Because we make up language, we set trends, whether it's fashion or otherwise. That's what it is. And I think GOAT, that is the epitome of like barbershop conversations and barbershop debates. You're always talking about who's the greatest of all time. Always, whether we're talking about rappers, whether it's LeBron or Michael Jordan, whether we're talking about anything. We're talking about who's the greatest of all time. And I think that's something that has been elevated by the culture for sure.
While we're here, tell me one of your GOATs, any category.
Well, I'll tell you this. I wrote this, I had posted on Instagram. First and foremost, before I ever get to that point, Instagram, right? I heard about Instagram. Do you know what a Finsta is?
A Finsta? I think so. What's that?
Like, I had no idea what it was until the student was like, "Oh yeah, that's my Finsta." I'm like, "What is a Finsta?" It's their fake Instagram account.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
these kids got it.
Hold up. Okay. Oh, no, that's just the one that I follow people and, I just they snoop in and doing all. I don't get it. But anyway, on Instagram, I have posted my intellectual crush, one of my intellectual crushes. And when I was working at Swarthmore College, they had a meeting between two professors, both of which who worked at Princeton. One was a white man, one is a black man. Now, the intellectual crush of mine that I got a chance to meet, that I have a picture with, that I saw on that day, who happens to be a member of my fraternity, Dr. Cornell West.
Oh yeah, come on.
He is one of my GOATs in a lot of different ways in terms of public intellectual spaces. Of course, there's conversations where, everybody was critiquing him for critiquing Obama, him and Tavis Smiley going around on the poverty tour, all the stuff, right? But he is one of my GOATs for sure. I have several of his books on my Black Power bookshelf. His memoir, Brother West, phenomenal read for me when I got fresh out of college. You know, Race Matters with Skip Get, all these things. But he is one of my GOATs for sure. And then in terms, I'm trying to think of other things. That's an intellectual crush for sure.
Have you met him before? Him? He's great, isn't he?
My goodness. But listen.
Did he call you brother?
Oh yes.
The way he calls you brother. When I was up in school in Cambridge, walk across Cambridge, you see him, hey brother. You'd be like, oh. You acknowledge me.
Talk about humility.
Yeah.
Humility personified. And it's like, you are this like towering intellectual who has done so much for so many people. And you know, you can meet those figures who you have so much like hope to meet, and when you meet them, you're like, but that wasn't the case at all. Just like arm in arm, smiling, taking pictures, like, and you know, I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, that's not me, but I'm like,
right. It's Mr. West. That's great. That's a good go.
Yeah. How about you?
Got a couple of them. But today, if I have to pick, and I'll stay in your realm, if we're talking Cornel West. And I've been in her presence, but I didn't spend time with her or really meet with her. Is Toni Morrison. You know, she just, while we're in colloquialisms, the way she uses languages and language and her writing and her construction and creation, you know, the fact that she has that book Tar Baby, which is about a whole different thing, yet in Sula there's a character named Tar Baby, you know, and I was thinking about this with the shirt I wore on one of our former shows, from Song of Solomon, when Pilate walks into Hagar's funeral and just belts out mercy, you know, and then finishes with, and she was loved. All she had to say at that complicated moment. You know? So, Toni Morrison just touched my heart with her writing and her life and her approach. She really is my GOAT, my greatest of all time, for sure. We should say that for anyone watching who doesn't know what a GOAT is. Greatest of all time. Just to be sure, just to be clear.
Greatest of all time.
Please, I love to hear people. I love hearing people's GOATs.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So I need drop us some comments about who your GOAT is, and you know, maybe if we have some in common, we can have a GOAT show. Here's another one that I've had before. In terms of, you know, thinking about managing money. So I was told a penny saved is a penny earned, but I was also told don't be penny wise and pound foolish.
Exactly. Beautiful, right? Don't be penny wise and a pound foolish. That's up there with what is it? Don't cut your nose off to spite your face.
Yes. You know? Yeah.
Look, it gets a little complicated, but if you stop and think about it, because I was always that kid was like, wait, what does that mean? I don't understand. And we'll keep asking, like, boy, get away from me. Go figure it out. Because I was always like, wait, I heard what you said, and I want to understand. I was such an annoying kid. I was really that like, yeah, what can you tell me? But those phrases and those moments, they mean so much. They're great.
Oh yeah. Words to live by, words that give us some type of direction, give you a compass.
Yeah, my biggest one was your mouth is bigger than your stomach. Because I always, can I have that? Can I have that? Your mouth is bigger than your stomach.
Your mouth is bigger than your stomach, and attached to that is you're eating with your eyes.
Exactly.
You're eating with your eyes.
I was good for that. I was real good for that. So brilliant. These lines are brilliant. Come on, they're great. So you know, I want to bring us into a space. Let's do a few more, and then I want to ask a question. Another one I have is, and that's kind of more current, is I'm weak. You know? Exactly. When you're laughing, it's like, it used to be you're cracking me up. Now it's I'm weak. You know? Do you have one of those that's like a present and future,
Present and
or
future one.
future,
Let's see.
past and future rather, past and
Um,
present.
so like, it used to be like, that's what's up. And now it's like, in some cases, 100. Used to be like back, like, that's what's up, and then 100. The other spaces, let me see. I'm trying to think of
I'm
other
with that. No, that's a good one. That's a real good one. That's a real good one. Because 100 is everywhere.
Yep.
I was like, I mean, it's an emoji. I was like, where's my that's what's up emoji? I love that's what's up. I love it because it says so much. And
Yes.
It's so simple. That's the power of a colloquialism. It says so much and it's so simple. So simple. Bless up.
Bless up. And then the ones that are a little bit more confrontational, like when you bout it.
Right.
So it's like, I'm bout it. But then later on, it's like, who gonna check me, boo?
Right.
Who gonna check me, boo?
Exactly. What was that song? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking right now. The check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Oh yeah, you better
come on
before you wreck yourself. You better.
Come on.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So this brings me to a question for you. We talk about language and words and the powers they have and the impact they can have. And what I have for you is this. Is Karen a look at you laughing. Is Karen / Becky a negative way to refer to someone or a slur?
The views and opinions that are about to be expressed are those of me alone. No, they are not a slur. Because if truth be told, if we were to be honest, there are other words we should be using to call out that behavior. There are other words we could be using to really be a little bit more descriptive about the situation. So when we say Becky, or when we say Karen, or if we say, Becky with the good hair, or, Permit Patty and all these things.
Barbecue
these
Becky.
Are Barbecue Becky. These are like our culture's way of, in a lot of different ways, like taking something that's so deep, so serious, boiling down into something that's like witty, clever, or catchphrase. But if we were to zoom out a bit, there's other things that we should be calling these people, but it's a word that folks, for whatever reason, is almost like if the Wiz, right? The Wicked Witch of the West, she was afraid of water. I'm melting, I'm afraid of water. You would think that if we said certain words to them, it would be their water to Eveline, right? Mm-hmm. So we called someone what they really were, racist. Or if we called someone what they really were, a bigot, you would probably have an issue with that. So just accept Karen, because it's a way for us to acknowledge that behavior and not personalize it on you. So again, we're removing the individual, but we're talking about the institutional problem, racism. So if you said, because let's just say, I don't know, I think there are people out there who might call people, I don't know, not even names, thugs, N-words, etc. But to say Karen, which is actually someone's name, I mean, everybody, they've said bye Felicia. They've said it and they've ran with it. I know a number of Felicias, ain't no one getting upset, right? So when we talk about a Karen or a Becky, etc., accept it. Because again, it's a situation where no one's calling you out your name, right? No one's calling you out your name in the sense of like a derogatory slur. I've seen people equate Karen to the N-word, equate Karen, not even equate it, sorry, excuse me. They said it was worse than the N-word. And I'm like, Karen, please. Okay, I'm done.
You know what I want to see? I want to see women being like, yo, you my Karen.
All they got to do is just take it back, reclaim it.
Exactly. It's a term of affection and it's a term of endearment. So Karen is, Yeah, I'm not gonna respond because I'm ready to go long and talk about it. But I want to hear your thoughts on that. But it's a moment. It's language is a shield often. It's a chance for us to avoid some truths,
Mm-hmm.
a chance for us to communicate in love and express. You know, language is very complex and it has its space and its meanings. The main thing I'll say about Karen and Becky is that you ain't gonna lose no job because you're a Karen or a Becky. That's how I'll stop with that. Like all that comes clear. Exactly. Okay.
Talk about it. Talk about it. That's a mic drop.
Completely.
That's like a one sentence lecture. You're done.
Or as the young people say, that's the whole tweet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Love it. I'm so glad you asked that question too, because I mean, like, so what I've been saying is that there's been new forms of fragility. And there are people out there competing for gold. Like they trying to, like in the Fragility Olympics, man. So like just one of those things.
Could you explain what you mean by fragility?
So fragility, when I'm talking about fragility, I'm talking about specifically white fragility. Those folks who like get so defensive, really unravel, break, hence the fragility piece. When you call out sisters and equity, when you call out racist behavior for what it is, racism, when you call someone a bigot for the bigoted things they've done, folks melt again. That got that evil lean, right? You know, water melting, right? They just start to like they break. And when I think about in this space, when I'm talking about us being quarantined, I've seen folks, like you said, part of it is, are we going to survive? Like beating this thing is, can you survive? And we see that there are some communities that are being impacted more than others. Even so much so that my wife was talking to me because we were looking at a number of different things. You're like, oh, I wonder why all these white folks, our vanilla brothers and sisters, are like, let's reopen our state, let's reopen this. It's like, did they just realize that, they're not really being impacted? They're not really being affected to the degree of other folks. So it's like, well, it's not bothering us. We're not the ones who are really dying from it. So can we get back to business as usual? Let them other folks worry about it. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's interesting. It's interesting. And you see the disparities in how people are treated, whether it's a militia of people who are armed, who don't look like me and you, and they can just storm a state capitol, or they can storm and protest and do all these things without
guns ablazing, like guns, machine guns.
Talk about it. So if you're really worried about Karen, really, like, come on. So yeah,
I really, as I explicate your verbal text, I was very proud of and related to how you started with cuz, not because, but cuz. And then another inflection you often use, which is great, is talk about it. Talk about it. Like, that's fantastic. That show, that's we are a people of call and response.
Yes.
Like, that's not real. Stuff we don't even understand that's in us, that was beat out of us, but still remains. That's why these colloquialisms are so important. That's why they're so powerful and they matter so much. That whole talk about it notion, that's fantastic.
It's the
powerful, beautiful message.
It's the preach, it's the amen, it's the go on, brother, it's all that.
And you know what is really wrapped up in all of it is I love you.
Yes.
And that love that we maybe not have been able to express because we had to be hard and survive. When you think about a mother yelling her kid on the bus, it's like that is a remainder of a woman trying to keep her child from being taken away and sold into slavery by making that child tough because they have to survive. They can't. We have to. We didn't. I mean, I'm giving a very long history in a truncated moment. We didn't have the ability and the skill set and the allowance to be gentle and soft. You know, so there were other ways to express that love and care, which I think isn't as explicit as it needs to be.
Mm.
I think we need a little bit more of that explicit behavior, which is why I think this is so powerful. This whole conversation that we have, it is a love exchange back and forth, which is frightening for some people. People put like labels and ideas on it, and nervous, but it's like, calm down. Like, we need to do this to survive. This is about.
And what we're doing is, one, normalizing it.
Yes.
Giving permission, and maybe I don't want to speak for you, but this is also an opportunity for us to get things that we didn't get. Right? And also like model things that we might not have necessarily had modeled for us.
Yeah. Majorly. I appreciate, yes. I have no, like, I want to, like, yes. I don't have a deep response because it's all, if I had a mic, I would drop it or hand it to you and that's you to drop it, because that's it right there.
That's real. It's real.
Being what you need. It's so easy and so expected and trained within us to be upset about and complain and complain and be stymied by certain situations, and actually not protest, just to take it and go, well, okay, because there's a lot of pressure on us as human beings, and then as people of color, and then as men of color, and then as Black men. Come on now.
So many.
Incredible. It's incredible. And to stand up in the face of it and try and come forward with love and support and knowledge, and not be ashamed of that knowledge. All these things that were beat out of us for centuries that we're trying to take back and claim. It's a beautiful journey and process.
My goodness. So I'll say this to you, and it relates to the conversation that we had our last session when we were talking about education. And I would argue, these type of conversations that we're having, if we gave folks this with some prompts or discussion-based questions or some follow-up like readings and cross-reference it with something else, that's education.
Yeah.
Like, that's education.
Yeah. That's it. Teach, preach, teach. All of it right there.
And just let folks like interpret, receive, take what they need, disregard the stuff that they're not really jiving with, and just wrestle with it all and see what happens. Like, it doesn't have to be that deep to the sense where it's like, we need this, you need that, you need that, you need. Nope. We got something. Watch it. Think about it. Reflect. How does it apply to you? How does it apply to other people and things in your life? So
show people that they exist.
Wow. Yep.
Show people they exist.
Well said. Well said. Listen. This has been another great one.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Goodness, it's been another great one. Another great one. Well, to those folks who were just being applauded at 7:00 in New York.
Yeah.
Right? Let's toast to them, to family, to love, to these conversations that we need.
All the above. Yes. That's good. Beautiful.
That's good.
Brown juice barbershop, baby.
Hey now. It's always about the brown juice, but even more importantly, about the brotherhood.
Oh yeah, completely.
About the brotherhood. So to you, brother, peace. Have a great one. We'll holler.
Have a good one, man. Thanks so much.
Of course.